learning, but it's a part of what we do, right? I had a good time yesterday watching Kennedy girls basketball. It was awesome to have kids back on the courts. Today I get an opportunity to watch Kennedy basketball boys play against Calhoun, and a little sense of normalcy in my life. Hopefully down the road, maybe there's a chance we can let kids in to watch games, but who knows? We're finding out ways where we can stream games, and maybe some of the students can watch games that way. All right, today's lesson has a little bit of a Super Bowl connection to it. So today's day 6, but we're calling today Tom Brady's strength. All right, I'm enamored with Tom Brady, 43 years old, been in the NFL 21 seasons, played in his 10th Super Bowl. These things have never happened. Won his 7th Super Bowl, never happened. Biggest thing with Tom Brady, he had one injury in the 21 season, and that was a torn ACL, which all the exercise in the world can't prevent that type of an injury, the injury that he had. Never missed a game because of injury, right? So Tom Brady created this company, I'll put it in the classroom, called TB12. It's his brand, right? All these athletes have their branding. Tom Brady, TB12. The website is tb12sports.com. I'll put the link in the classroom. His whole thing is based on this term, pliability. It's not flexibility, pliability. He wants to create long, soft, resilient muscles, right? Because as the quarterback, he has to absorb the hits, the contact, the sacks, the tackles. So this allows him to absorb, and he can also disperse the force. He gets hit and he's standing still. His body, because he's created these long, soft, resilient muscles, he can get hit and not have the injuries that other quarterbacks or other NFL players have. It's an incredible philosophy. Some people in the strength and conditioning world are questioning it, but if you look at Tom Brady's numbers and some of the things that I just said, it works, and it definitely works for Tom Brady. All right, so we're gonna go over a couple of those things. But pliability, right, the concept to get these muscles is based on two things. Deep muscle massage, right, and then bands. He uses the oversized rubber bands for most of his strength. Most football players, you think about heavy weightlifting, powerlifting, right, the bench press, the squats, the deadlifts. Tom Brady believes in the bands, but more importantly, initially, he believes in this deep muscle massage. So there's two ways that we can do that, right? We have the foam rollers. Everyone has seen foam rollers. If Tom Brady has soreness here, right, he can do this against the wall, he can do this on the ground. If the soreness is on the back of the thigh or going into the butt, you roll out that muscle. There's a little bit of discomfort for me, but I can feel the penetration into the muscle. You can use the same type of a thing and say he was sore in the shoulder. Create and lean in hard to create. He would be a right-hander, so his right shoulder, he's doing a ton of the foam rolling. Right? The other way to do it, which is extremely popular, is the use of the lacrosse ball. Lacrosse ball. Right, if you've ever been hit with a lacrosse ball, you know how hard it is. Solid rubber, same concept. You find that tightness and you roll into it. You can have soreness in your back, either against a wall or against the ground, and you roll. You put all of your weight on this tennis ball, the lacrosse ball, and that creates the pressure into the sore areas. Things that Tom Brady swears by. Next, the bands. The bands are just oversized rubber bands. When the pandemic hit last year, Amazon was selling these things at a higher rate than most other products. It's like Clorox wipes and then exercise bands, resistance bands, continuous piece, right? Tom Brady does band pull-aparts every day. Now this action, he swears, keeps his arms strong, and now he's able to throw that pass stronger, harder, more accurate at 43 than he did when he was a college player. He wasn't highly regarded coming out of college. Drafted late, 6th round pick, 199th pick. 198 players were picked over him in the NFL draft. Now he's considered the best player of all time. He believes in this not weight room stuff, traditional weight room stuff. You can make any exercise out of this. But Tom Brady, palms down every day, palms up, right? And just that change in hand position changes the trigger points on the back of his shoulder, which are the throwing muscles. You can create different exercises. Bands come with handles, right? On Friday for this class, we're going to talk about elbow flexion and extension, but we can do different exercises here with these bands. You knew that was going to happen once we go live, right? You can create any action here. I can do shoulder exercise this way, right? Create any type of action. Two of the things that Tom Brady believes in, longer band, same style of band, but longer with the handles. He does these Y pulls, makes the shape of a Y. Right? You can see the Y shape here. Make my hands go into a Y, make my hands go into a T, or my hands go into an arrow. Right? And he does a combination of Y pulls, step back, upper back, right? And different types of band pulls here. For today's lesson, Tom Brady's strength. I didn't know what else to call it. Current strength, current trends in strength and conditioning, going away from traditional weights and adding the resistance bands. These bands, one band, a thin band, can be used for any exercise. I can create the exercise. I can go into a squat pattern and just use the band as a resistance. I can do overhead press and just use the band as a resistance. We spoke about isometrics last time. I can go muscle activation, no movement, and just hold in this position. So these bands, and Tom Brady does this as well, can create isometric exercises as well as traditional movement exercises. The bands come in different sizes. The thicker the band, the more resistance. So if I were to do those exercises with the thicker band, it becomes a little bit harder. I make my feet wider. Right now there's less band to pull, so that makes the exercise harder as well. Anything you do with one hand, you can do. Anything you do with two hands, you can do with one hand. So the bands are extremely versatile. Right? A lot of people use these when they go on vacation. They throw a couple of bands in their travel bag, and now you have it at your home gym on the road. All right? Any questions? I'm here on the Google Classroom, but it's Tom Brady's strength. Right? That guy at 43 years old, and after the game, he said he's not retiring. Right? What he does is remarkable. You don't have to be a Buccaneer fan or a Patriot fan or a Tom Brady fan just to respect what he's done on the playing field at the highest level. Questions? See me or coach? Anything going on? Enjoy the rest of your day. I have your attendance on the Google Classroom. Get up, move, don't stay behind the screen all day long.
Amen.
Peace. Amen.